These have everything in their power, and that's the diffuser. Years and years of hard work pay off. FaZe Clan are your champions. All he has to do is stop joystick. 2 seconds left. There's multiple people looking, but always has the insurance policy. Empire have come so close before, but they've fallen short and they'll do so again. TSM are your 6th Invitational 2022 World Champs. J90 to save Astralis. DZ can double up and secure their first international major win. Yesterday they took the crown from LA. Today they take their kingdom from lockdown.
Rogue EU winners at the Berlin Major.
3 versus 4. Oh my BDS, they are your major champions.
I got problems on problems on problems on problems on problems on problems. I solve them. I run through the money. The pressure be calling. Left on my blessings. I feel like I'm falling. The birdie is back. Tell me I'm garbage. I'm going through something. That's why I ain't calling. Phone and progression is all that I wanted. The phone and affection. I summon and dub it. Cause I got problems on problems on problems on problems on problems on problems. I solve them. I run through the money. The pressure be calling. Left on my blessings. I feel like I'm falling. The birdie is back. Tell me I'm garbage. I'm going through something. That's why I ain't calling. Phone and progression is all that I wanted. The phone and affection. I summon and dub it. Why you be all on my line about nothing? Why won't you go get you $1 or something? Don't hang with it who line for nothing. I see that we different, you riding, I double. I don't do discussions on bragging about hundreds. Don't go to your places, I know that they sunken. Don't call me your brother, I barely could trust it. I talked to a shorty, she bagging the bucket. And I'ma need all of my dollars on corporate, so hand me the money, I divvy the pie. I'ma give all of my people a portion to build them a fortune. I'm flipping the ride. I can't be mixy when iffy the vibe. And 40 on 50 is really the time. Why are you all on my phone like you want me? Like you wasn't pushing the kid to the side. I run through the money, the pressure be calling. Left on my blessings, I feel like I'm falling. The birdie is back. Tell me I'm garbage. I'm going through something. That's why I ain't calling.
Welcome to the final best of 1 of today. We're going to be sending another team straight to phase 2. W7M has already qualified and Wolves need to play it out in that lower bracket, but Group A, we now have Sandbox Gaming up against Falcons. Winner is going to be straight cruise to phase 2, and the loser will drop to the lower bracket and face M&M in the lower bracket finals in a best of 3 format to qualify for the second phase of the major. Now, as much as you guys have seen me quite a lot on your screens for the last few days, I think it's time to bring in some more casters for a little bit more wisdom. We have Pengu and Intero. Hi, guys.
Hey, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you guys doing over there?
Fantastic.
I'm doing really well.
Yeah.
Good day so far?
Yeah. Have you noticed the shirt that Ginny's
Oh,
wearing?
anyway, we're not going to talk about the shirt.
Yeah,
Let's talk about the
kinda
game.
nice.
Let's talk about the game, guys. Okay, let's keep it about the game here. Can I have predictions? Anyone?
Well, I got a feeling that it's going to be Falcons, but in terms of
Yes.
experience, it should be Sandbox. But I mean, Falcons have played better, I think, honestly, out of all the teams so far.
They've definitely impressed. You know, they're missing their primary IGL and whatnot, but they're still showing up good numbers, so they've got a good spot.
Yeah, it's going to be, I guess, a 3-man Falcon bias. So I'm going to give it to you guys for the cast. Enjoy.
Thank you very much. We were joking about her shirt because it's like a Ralph Lauren shirt, and it's something that we've seen before in like designer stores, and we're just teasing her about it basically all day. And every time we reference it, it's just the cost of the shirt keeps going up and up and up. We have something really exciting today, by the way.
Okay.
So there's only one MENA team that's here. That's Falcons.
Yes, correct.
Right?
Yeah.
And no APAC team has secured their spot
Correct.
in stage 2 yet, other than the 2 teams that are joining us shortly, which is D+ and Scars.
Yeah.
So, what this match will do is guarantee that one Phase 1 APAC team, or the only Phase 1 MENA team, the only MENA team that's here at all, will be making it on to Phase 2, which is quite exciting.
It's quite exciting. Where are we going to play, Nick?
We will be playing on... Wait. There it is. Border.
Boom.
Second time. Honestly, pretty chaotic map for both of these two teams. I think it's going to fit both playstyles as well, so I'm not surprised that they handshake deal to go here. And it's between theme park or border, so very different stylistic choices here.
Hugely different maps. But I'm excited for a border between these teams. I want to see how Falcons do internationally on border.
Yeah.
They're missing their primary IGL, so Valentino's going to be IGLing.
Yeah.
Presumably, we imagine that he'll IGL again. He did in the very first match. And hey, it was good. They beat M&M. It was an excellent performance for them. It was their very first Tier 1 international performance ever at a major. Now they've got even more pressure on their shoulders. They go to border. Will they topple one of the longest tenured and most experienced teams in not just Korea, but all of APAC? Or will we see our first APAC team go out of phase 1, but in the right direction? Qualifying for phase 2 to join D+ and Scars when we come back in a couple days with phase 2. We are coming in buying very high on the stocks of Falcons.
Yeah.
I think for good reason.
I mean, even pro league teams in Europe who has been scrimming and whatnot, they have been praising their skill in those scrimmages they've been having together. So there's just a lot of kind of noise being made around this team. And then as you said, Valentino comes in, takes up the IGL duty, and he literally landed and arrived here like 7 hours before their game, took a fat power nap, showed up, did his business, and went back to bed basically. So Falcons now, they're gonna be more well rested, whereas Sandbox, I mean, they also flew a long way to get here, so both teams were gonna feel better about this one. Operator Benz, however, Dogaby being removed from action first, followed by Jackal. Now, Jackal's pick rate is relatively low in professional play. The ban rate even lower. This is border. You can get cheeky and run out the map and be very dynamic, you know, run from east stairs all the way to security and back and forth, etc. But that's not going to be the case with this one. Jackal's gone. Solus follows up as well. Can no longer deny plants from below. That's going to make it easier to get those plants down when you're on the attacking side of things. And then Womai, your new Oryx, as we call him here. Oryx lost 1.5x.
All right, that's what I called him.
Yep.
Yes.
Womai, he got the new 1.5x.
I was going to say, why did I call him that?
Yeah. Yeah, why do you call him that? Well, Oryx and Capcan had the 1.5x. They were played very commonly. And then who got it when they lost it? Well, Womai got it. And now Womai is the new Oryx. And so is Warden, to be fair, the two Ws.
Warden's at a 1.5 for ages. By the way. He's at a 1.5 and a deployable shield for quite a prolonged period of time. Yep. You can look it up if you'd like. I'm correct. Because
it's the meme. Oh, it's the Ward meme, not the Womai meme. Is that what it is? Did I really get it wrong? What? You explain. You explain. You explain. You go.
I just commented on the fact that Womai's pick rate has surged, and the
because,
belief is because he has the 1.5. It has nothing to do with, it has nothing to do with anything beyond that. It's just, everybody liked to use the Oryx because he's very mobile. Doesn't bring a ton of utility, but he has a bailiff, so you can create rotates if need be. T5's a relatively low recoil gun, easy to control, decent rate of fire, good damage, is a 1.5 on it. You can spawn peek, you can get a long range kill, you can reposition relatively quickly. Womai obviously doesn't function the same way because there's a lot more utility being brought. With those magnets, you're able to play on site, you can play selfishly off site, you can roam, you can extend roam. But the one thing that unites him and Oryx is that they both have 1.5s. And there have been countless times so far here at the Major where we have seen players use a Womai well off site, playing those long range angles with a 1.5 scope, inarguably the superior scope in the game right now. Just basically replacing the role that Oryx had.
Yep, Oryx. Capcan, of course, still seeing a fair bit of play, but not in his opening round. However,
I heard that.
Look at Sandbox. Osa, Glass,
This is the APAC special, baby.
I love this. I mean, APAC really is bringing this chaotic element to Siege, and also just like the execution style. We play on the smoke grenades, I mean, they have 2, 4, 6 smoke grenades, one set of frag grenades, rather.
Oh, good boy is a bad shot down below. Joker, the first pick and the very first kill. Nook had thought that she had a win, but now Valentino's about to learn the definition of the word hurts. 2 smokes coming in. as well as the shields. Arukaze with diffuser down, breathing in that toxic gas, but he's able to get away in time. Monty not losing his HP. Another smoke goes out too. It's a lot of smoke that was expended there. Only one remains, but look at this. P9 is just on it. There's no coverage. Finally, they get on it. Very narrowly a successful disable from Falcons. Kills is above, lording over top of it, and there's another smoke. Can they long arm it? Yes, they can. Mad Skills goes down. The Glass has good coverage. Joker's turn to hop on it. A body drops. Mephi will run right in. Down goes the Valkyrie of Joker. It's all up to Kills, who's now on it himself. Forcing Demic to get in. Does he fall off it? No, he doesn't. First round goes to the Koreans in a very chaotic brawl.
And just like that, in 40 seconds, the round is basically over because the post plan really favors the attacking team. I mean, it's a great effort from Falcons to try and get it back. They go in for the aggressive plays, jumped out the windows, capitalized on that far play of the Glass. But again, Sandbox, they had everything figured out. They play so far back that the jump outs, the run outs, etc., they aren't really successful. And this is the thing about Border. If you want to, you can absolutely do this kind of attack every single round for every single bomb site. And the long armor for P9 almost worked out, but then you see the Monty go off the extended shield, take him down. And a one-by-one day trade until the clock either runs down to 0, or of course we see Kills, the last remaining defender falls to the hands of Glass. Almost a team ace for Sandbox. Of course, Good Boy fell early in the round, doesn't get to be a part of the action, but still. And we see Armory again, second time for Falcons, and what happens immediately? Attacker repicks, Glass, the Ying. Small iterational changes here again. Good Boy still on the Nook, so let's say in the perfect world, the Good Boy downstairs wasn't found out, stayed alive. He's going to be flanking that main staircase to just further play into that chaotic effect, and then while the bomb is going down, he's getting some kills, and then the defenders have to turn around, look away from the guy planting to try and deal with Good Boy instead. So that previous round wasn't even the ideal perfect execute for Sandbox. However, they still win the round.
Sorry, Nick, hold on. I'm composing a tweet to say that we're live.
That's okay. You're allowed to. You what?
I figured I should.
You figured you should? It's always good to do.
When you spell play-ins, Nick, do you put a hyphen in it?
Yes, hyphen.
Okay, thank you very much.
That's what I would do. I think it makes the most amount of sense.
Awesome. Falcons versus Sandbox.
Yep. Can you put the map in there? Border or not relevant?
Border.
Yeah, Border.
Lights on.
Live tweeting on broadcast. LOL. What do you think of that? Is that a
I think it's a stellar tweet.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate that.
While Parker's been tweeting away, Sandbox have made a fake execute. They toss in one Cadella, but nothing really happens. They don't act upon this. Instead, they try and get Good Boy into a good position. But once again, you know, Falcons, they're there. They strike back. They get the kill again. And a second to follow onto Glass. And now the execute from Sandbox. It's in a bad spot.
Oh, Mad Skills. Got a little cheeky down below, and Mephi will punish him for that. It's the first pick for Sandbox that'll come in on this round. The Glass special, yet again, a similar lineup with a couple deviations. No shield play here. I feel like if you're just a casual observer of this level of play and you look at an international competition and you say, hey, there's a Glass being played. Who is it? Somebody will almost certainly say, oh, of course, it's APAC. Joker takes down Envy Taylor, and suddenly it's a 4v2 favoring Falcons. Sandbox have not been quick to get in, just like they had before. Nicely timed nade by Mephi, a great read. Down goes P9. That's your smoke player. So critical in the previous round, and obviously wasn't enough for Falcons to get the retake, but the smoke was inarguably an important part. Now it's Joker to tussle with Mephi. Nitro Cell goes down, gets shot away. Sledge is playing on the other side of the doorway. Candelas go off, and Joker will try his luck. Doesn't work out. Demic's in the middle of the site. That doesn't matter. It's all up to Mephi. 4-1. That's a pretty good run for somebody who's only played about 6 minutes so far into the game, but he's got a lot of work to be done as he walks right into the line of sight of Kills. Down he goes. Falcons answer back.
This is one of the weaknesses of playing this execution style that Sandbox is trying to accomplish, is that you put all your eggs in one basket, and if you get to execute, you're in a great spot. You really like that position. But then, if it doesn't work out, if either your glass or your young dies, or you don't get inside the building in due time, then you just kind of gotta scramble around and try and find another avenue into the bomb site. And as we saw, Mephi downstairs gets a grenade kill. That's all good and well. Demic tosses out some Cadelas, jumps in the archive's window, but again, you can't really do much with that. You can't really act upon it. The biggest issue right now for Sandbox, honestly, has just been that Good Boy, their nuke player, he constantly gets found by the defending roamers and then shut down. So they don't get that 1-2 punch execute. They just get the front side without any flanking. And I think it makes sense that Good Boy now is attacker repicking, at least for the time being, from the nuke onto the Brava instead. Change things around because that previous playstyle clearly wasn't working. Either Falcons, they have studied Sandbox, they are ready for it, prepared for it, they knew that was a good game plan to be expected from them, or they simply just had like the good timing, be in the right positions, and a good understanding, of course, of the map of Border. And also, surprisingly enough, Falcons, despite losing that first opening round on Armory, they went back there straight away with small adjustments to counter that same exact execute, and then they are rewarded because they then win the bomb site. Now things will change, however. They'll go downstairs, play that verticality, play the Valkyrie, get those cameras active, and now Good Boy on the Brava can get a lot of intel here. Gets the one default cam, looking for all the possible utilities on the bomb site, but the B bomb site is relatively bare bones. There's not really anything in there. No barbed wire, no ESs, no nothing at all. Not even a goo mine.
It's very similar to the M&M game. Falcons are being very front forward on these defenses. Loosely roaming, but also, and most importantly, is they are bringing the aggression to Sandbox. It was good enough to catch M&M off guard.
Yep.
It's what's forced M&M down into the lower bracket, and are now staring down defeat. They'll face the loser of this match. Could be Falcons again. Nice best of 3 rematch, or it could be Sandbox. But Falcons obviously like this as their play style. We've seen them do it in the MENA League. But it also matches up really well to some of these more structured teams.
Yes.
Sandbox are not the most structured team here. They have good structure, as we've seen from the first 2 rounds, but they can also thrive in the chaos. So as these rounds go on, I expect to see Sandbox get a little bit more aggressive themselves. Maybe a little bit quicker with the roam, because with the exception of that first round of getting the nuke in quickly, Sandbox has actually been quite slow at being able to take up map control.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of slow, half run is gone. They've just opened up the armory wall. C4 goes out from down below from O-Kills and finds Mephi. That's Ayana off the board, your entry player as well. And Good Boy on the board now, finds his first kill, but that's going to be a short-lived one.
Answered right back. Demic very close to the site. P9 is just a terror at the moment. Sandbox reduced to 2. The veteran of Envy Taylor and Arakaze holding on to that diffuser is all that's left. Above the bomb site, down goes Arakaze. Sandbox not doing too well in these constant 1v1s that have emerged all over the map. Envy Taylor puts the commando to good use, follows up on Valentino, but he'll get collapsed upon, and it's Joker to get the kill. Falcons have taken 2 in a row, and the lead is now theirs.
Yeah, you can see here in this round, Falcons, sure, they're still roaming and still playing actively on the map, but they weren't getting in the faces of Sandbox. They're actually playing below with that Valkyrie camera information, and they worked vertically upon the issue, right? You see here, C4 goes out, O-Kills, they're doing 7 kills right now, and then that's when they strike from above at the same time, because they recognize the Sandbox, they've hit the bomb side. And then in the 1 versus 4, the 4 versus 1 rather, you see them chasing for the final kill, not giving any breathing room, no quote-unquote tactical timeout where you run outside the building and just kind of, burn down that clock. 3rd bomb site. From upstairs to ventilation to Taylor's bathroom. And we're seeing again the glass, the Ying being brought at the fin gap. Typically, when we see glass being hovered on this bomb site, it speaks to this straight in the window to the bomb site, as you see right here in the middle of the screen, and just fly on in and try and take control. And it all comes down to usually a warden for the defending team to deal with that. And then it's actually one thing that is very surprising to me. Falcons, they're not choosing to play the warden, despite the fact that glass has been played 2 rounds, and with this one being about to go on the way, a 3rd round. So that is your primary source of counterability, like your Maestro Evil Eye cameras or the Warden Smart Glasses, neither operator being brought. So if Sandbox go for this kind of smoke style execute, it could be difficult for Falcons to deal with it.
Selma's going off early on. Oh, we have an Oryx on the board.
Hey.
An operator whose pick rate has not been anywhere near as high as it was just a couple weeks ago. See the balancing changes coming in right before the major, actually. It had some pretty big effects on some of these teams, I have no doubt. Yet another round, yet another Glass on the board. But this is the one bomb site where we tend to see Glass thrive an awful lot. And I believe it was Koi who actually used a strategy here where they threw the smoke and they hung the Glass upside down on the window. You can watch bathroom, and then of course you can watch the doorway. And the way the perspective works in this game, very little of Glass's head is going to be shown on that upside down rappel. But he's going to be able to shoot back, and that's obviously a major disadvantage.
Yeah, look at that. That can allow the Blind's bathroom player. You go in, go deep, but P9 with the pre-fire.
Oh, they've got two bodies stacked up, but Mephi swings in, gets 2 kills, pops right back out. It might be a bit too late, but Sandbox takes advantage of that. They gain the upper hand in terms of the numbers. The standoff between O-Kills and Joker.
Ooh.
Demic now positioned, waiting for it. O-Kills and Demic, and O-Kills gets it. Oh my.
Such a good read as well from O-Kills. I mean, he's on 8 kills right now. Got that 6th sense really working in his favor. You saw him make those micro stutter adjustments on the scope. It's a player happy to stay active because when you don't move your mouse at all, and then you get swung, you have to be a little bit too slow to the punch. You stay active by making those micro adjustments.
Action happened really quickly. There's still plenty of time left, just over a minute to go. In a 2v2, very much anybody's game. Don't have any utility remaining though. The Glass has no smoke, so there'll be no concealment for the sniper. Good boy on Ace, deprived of Selmas. A single pest in the back pocket of O-Kills. This is just going to be a shootout at this point.
Yeah, the defender's in a favorable position, and with Mephi on Glass with a single HP left, I mean, he can't jump in that window once more. That will surely mean his demise. He's going to go above instead and try and come down the east stairs, perhaps. Go for a different avenue and a different route. Good boy just waiting for now.
Neither remaining player on Sandbox with a drone, so this will just be pure gunfights. Joker moves in the wrong direction. There was a drone at his feet. He's managed to take it out, but that's still at least momentary intel. Good boy rushing in. This is a surge, but Joker's looking in that direction, loses the fight either way to Good boy. All on the shoulders now of O-Kills as Diffuser goes down. Mephi's watching. Oh, very limited HP, and he sees them both. O-Kills is good for 2 kills there. 3 on the round, and he hops on the Diffuser for good measure. Falcons up 3-1. Tense final moments in that round.
And that is the 10th kill for O-Kills as well. I mean, his name really doesn't do him justice, does it? Because he does not drop 0 kills ever. A great start for Falcons on border, going up 3-1. And this will have prompted Sandbox's tactical timeout to kind of talk things through and figure out what the issues might be. Perhaps a different approach strategically against Falcons, because what they're trying to do with these execution-style strats simply just are not working. P9 just held left click. I just got 2 opening kills that was trying to be the planters from Sandbox. And sure, Glass, Mephi jumps in, gets 2 kills, trading it right back, but they can't get the bomb down. And that was the entire goal for Sandbox. You see right here, that's one. And despite being blinded by the Candelas, he actually finds a second as well before Mephi then jumps in to trade it back, as I mentioned. 6 cents from O-Kills, just waiting, holding one member stuck. It's rewarded. And we see the round finish. The double, the defuse, the 10 kills, the celebration as well. Great start for them.
I'd be very proud of this beginning if I was Falcons. I wish we could understand them.
I wish. I actually really wish.
I so badly wish. The fact that we're seeing Falcons do this without their full starting 5 is quite impressive. Now, mind you, the caliber of teams and the level of competition only increases from this point forward.
Yes.
The proverbial big dogs will be arriving here in the next 24 to 100 hours if you're Dark Zero. For those of you that are unaware of that reference, DZ boarded a flight to Copenhagen last night, presumably from Las Vegas, and then after waiting on the plane for several hours, engine problems caused them to cancel the flight, and now their arrival is anybody's guess.
Oh boy.
They'll get here eventually, I'm sure.
Yeah.
They got that DZ money, okay? They'll be piloting a private jet, I'm sure.
It's a map.
But all jokes aside, The top teams from the regions will be arriving in the next 24 to 36 hours, and then when Phase 2 begins on Saturday, we're going to see the level of competition crank upwards.
Yes.
So while all of the teams that are here in Phase 1 deserve to be here, absolutely, they didn't get here by being the best. They got here because they had their last chances and they made it, which is excellent for them. But you're now going to be going up against the Titans. You're going to be going up against the Juggernauts. Things only get more difficult from this point onward. So take this as a learning experience.
Yeah.
For Falcons, I mean, what are you going to learn? If you win this map, that's it. You go on to Phase 2, literally having 2 maps of experience at an international competition. That's not a lot. So you hope that they've learned as much as they can, and then we can see what they can do against the Phase 2 teams.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of this is going to come down to getting comfortable on the LAN build, you know, playing on a different setup, not sitting at home, for example. And so far, just really getting used to the zero ping shenanigans, which is that you can just take these fights with confidence, and if your aim is true, you will win them every single time. kills finds almost 2 kills back-to-back upon Sandbox.
kills looking for even more. Entry kills have all broken in favor of Falcons so far. That's not great for Sandbox. They've drawn even twice. The Warden of Valentino runs out. It's a risky gambit. He manages to take one down with him before getting dragged away on his own. But good news, that's Arukaze. That's the hard breach. Arukaze not having a very effective match so far. Other than on that very first round where we saw the diffuser get planted, the only victory for Sandbox so far, Arukaze has not had a lot of impact on the rounds. Nice pick from Good Boy on the P9. That's the smoke. But an immediate trade back as Joker reads that one onto the balcony, and down another member of Sandbox goes.
Yeah, and this is the exact playstyle we saw Falcons utilize against M&M in their opening game, where they will be just up in your face every single time, and they play quite dynamically together because you see one member dance of Armory, and then Joker swings that triple wall from office and gets traded right back, but Demick, he's there. Evens the score back to a 2v2, and O-Kill is down on very low HP now. This could be a round for Sandbox.
2 shots to the shoulders put Alibi in a rough spot. 40 seconds left. Envy Taylor taking some damage as he charges on by. They know this position for O-Kills. 2 nades for Demick still. They had a read on one of the players above. It's Mad Skills. Whether they still have that and can get one of those nades from below, anybody's guess. EE1D pop, there's still one remaining in back pocket. There's a nade unsheathed by Demick, waiting to go towards top of stairs. Doesn't hit even close to anything. He's gonna be looking the same direction as Envy Taylor. Both will be breaking in through the same angle, and it's very easy to just line them up and knock them down for both Mad Skills and O-Kills. Falcons have put 4 rounds in a row on the board. Haven't really broken much of a sweat.
No, not yet. I mean, I think Sandbox, they gotta start playing that IQ and play it very safe. They tried in a single round, but even in that round, the Valkyrie cameras, the information game was still problematic for them to deal with. And Falcons are smart. They play some Mozzie, they play some Valkyrie, they change things up. The information game is different every single time, but the sheer aggression, the confidence. I mean, Valentino's playing Warden. He just runs out the East Stairs door, gets 1 kill, fights for the second. The trade's always favoring Falcons because they get that opening kill to stop things off. If they trade 1-for-1 the entire way through, they will get to that 1 versus 0, which means you win the round. And in the 2v2s, Falcons positioning just that much better. Of course, they are the defending team. It's easier to position yourself correctly compared to being an attacking team, but they do so correctly every single time. Sandbox opening round had a similar lineup as what we see right now. The Ying, they had an Osa instead of a Blast, sorry, and an Osa instead of a Ying, the Monty, the Lion, etc. And it was when they found their first round victory. But the thing is, this is not an armory defense, it's ventilation again. So Falcons, you know they're gonna be up above. And Sandbox's attack right now, it looks like, again, one of those very straightforward, linear executions straight to the bomb site, which can work if you have enough smoke grenades. But then you look at Falcons, they have so many C4s, 3 of them in their pockets. If they try and go for a plant, they're gonna come flying at them. And look at Sandbox positioning right now. Outside main door, outside ventilation window, on sandwich rappel. So Arukaze can throw Candelas in above, blind the people above, then they plant downstairs, and that's how they're going to try and break this defense from Team Falcons. You see when they go.
Oh, you see Mad Skills taking a great deal of damage.
There it is.
Good news for them. There's those Kona stations to heal him right back
4.
up. Candella's going in, Nitro Cell tossed out, it catches NV Taylor. Oak Kill now dropping as Joker has no way into the bomb site. More damage being done by both teams. Down goes Oak Kills, all 12 of those kills will be no more. Now it's Joker being lit up. Mephi throw to the Nitro Cell lands right square on his face. An easy pick for Valentino. Arukaze picking up just his second kill so far in this first half. Goodbye, P9.
Yeah.
Back to a 3v3 with just over a minute and a half to go.
I was gonna say they trade 2 for 2, but look at it, like the defending team comes out on top because A, they have bomb site control, they have vertical control, but also you shut down the entire primary execute. Candelas are gone, Glass is dead, Monty is dead. Now Sandbox, they got Diffuser in a very tough position in the middle of the bomb site and no really good way in to get it or retrieve it. Get a minute and 20 seconds left. So Sandbox, they can take that time, go upstairs maybe, find a different solution to the problem. Demic going for a flank, but it's read out again by Team Falcons. It's Valentino this time.
Demic on the hunt, following up on Valentino as luck runs out, but it's put Demic into a single shot position. You're absolutely right about that diffuser. The fact that it needs to be taken literally from the grasps of Falcons does not bode well for them, but that's a bit of a misplay from Joker. Uncharacteristic as he looks in the wrong direction. Another engagement from Mad Skills, they go for broke, but Sandbox is able to clean that one up. And they win the first round and the last round in the first half. Nice bookends on what has been a pretty disappointing first half in this map.
Yeah.
But at least they're able to salvage some of it. And hopefully have some confidence heading into the second half.
A 4-2 side swap for Border is not really uncommon. The only thing is typically it goes 4 in favor of the attackers and 2 for the defenders. The C4 that we mentioned earlier on were really pivotal in this round, both finding a kill apiece and of course stopping the plan itself. But Demic making that choice to say, you know what, I got the time to go for a flank, go inside of Taylor's bathroom, and try and take control, really paid off. It does come down to an individual gunfight between Demic and Valentino, but the winner of that gunfight, well, they reap all the rewards as they get the majority of the bomb site and mapping control. Side swap comes out, Sandbox will not be the defending team, and in a very opening round, they will show a very different lineup than that of Falcons. The Mirror, the Mute, the Vigil, the Castle, the Warden, they're speaking to closing off the map in as many areas as possible, the Castle barricades, and then fortifying key positions of the map with the Mirror windows. This one right here, Overseas Office, that triple wall leading to East Stairs, that's gonna lock down the east side of the map. And of course you have the Armory security side, that's gonna lock down the south and the west hand side. So this is Sandbox trying to play the entirety of the upstairs area of Border. There is one small weakness, it is gonna leave the downstairs area of the first floor much weaker for the taking. And Falcons, if they drone this out and they recognize it, they could just go below, use the IQ vertically, maybe try and use some grenades from Oak Kills, try and fish for a kill or two. That drone just fell down all the way from the roof. Of course, when you got a Vigil and you got an IQ, have a bit of a standoff because Mad Skills, he knows exactly where Goodboy will be playing at when that gadget is active.
Goodboy just gave his position away, though. There's 2 separate players very close by. It's vaultable to get out of that position, so he's not completely doomed, but the Castle Barricade will do him no favors if he wants to rotate more freely. Something tells me that's probably not the plan.
No.
It's gonna be Jammer that was denying them intel is now gone. Goodboy will activate the cloaking device, a Vigil, and himself a bit more concealant inside a break room. Wall opened up in the office, one of the triple panel soft walls will now put greater pressure on the defender playing in there to make a move.
Attackers have dropped
You
the
can get
bomb.
in or out. Oh, they're just going for it. Valentino taking down the Mirror, looks the wrong way. That's not good. Say goodbye. Mephi wins the duel. Now Flash goes in. Falcons having a great degree of difficulty and almost could have had a kill as they look away at the last second.
Timing. It's a great attempt from Valentino, but there's no fallout from the rest of his teammates. So it's, again, a 1-for-1 high-value trade going in favor of Sandbox once again. They can keep that control office, and Goodboy also not really being pressured out of security just yet. Maybe with Maskos pushing up, that'll be the case.
This is a standoff for the ages. P9 getting the attention of the Mira. but that gives an opportunity for Mad Skills to walk in and remove Good Boy from that spot. Unfortunately for Falcons, they stared down the wrong side of the numbers. And they have yet to flush Mephi out of this position inside of Office as well. Now blinded. They jump on him with P9, but Sandbox are trading really effectively at this point. Do they get the trade on a Joker? No! Pulls off 2 quite impressive kills, leaving Arukaze by Fountain in a 1v2. 30 seconds left, soft wall shot open. He looks to the left, It's a great distraction. The Falcons will win their 5th round.
Impressive problem solving, and we see how aggressive Falcons they play on the defensive side. Well, first against Eminem and now against Sandbox, but the way they play attack is completely different, and it's one of their big strengths as a team. They're hard to adapt to when you go on that side swap because it's such a different approach. Aggression defense, very structured attacks, relatively slow actually. They have this very big checklist of things they want to do before they can go for that primary execute. And we did see Valentino have a bit of a very aggressive single-man execute that didn't really go anywhere. But then after that failed, the team, again, they took their time. They tried to figure out the positions of the players, where the crossfires were established, and then go for those plays together. You see it open up, Mad Skills take down Good Boy. That stops the crossfire. Then they work Office together. They trade, but that's exactly what they need. And in the 2v1, they go for a wallbang in towards Fountain, kind of just trying to eliminate where the enemy might be playing at. And the second the caster moves the muscle, looks the wrong way, that's when they swing together and they get that final kill. I like the mirror from Sandbox. I like that they're trying to make it difficult for Falcons to attack in these rounds, but the individual play in the 1v1 gunfights, that's been going great for Sandbox, but the team play, when you play together, the 2v1s, the 2v2s, that's where Falcons, they're finding their stride. Sandbox, they are in the right positions, but not necessarily playing together as much as they should be in those positions.
This has been a struggle not just for Sandbox, but frankly for all APAC teams. Is the one thing that I think you can point at is just coordination.
Yeah.
On attack, I like seeing the Finkas get brought out, an operator who's very much not a staple as she was a couple months ago, a year ago, etc. I love the consistency of Glass being brought. I like the Osa and Monty ideas. But while the thinking is always so solid from these APAC teams, we always see a struggle with the execution of it.
Yeah.
The first round was really the outline. Now, it looks like a similar setup is going to be brought here from Falcons. They've got a good idea of what they want to do. There's a Monty who's already in the bomb site. We are 55 seconds into the round. And there's a diffuser being planted. Sandbox doesn't seem to know it. Coverage is perfect. Diffuser goes down. All 10 players are still alive. This is almost unprecedented. First kill, though, goes in the way of Sandbox. They're able to keep adding to it. They've taken P9 down. Yes, they do. Mad Skills goes as well. Now Mephi on the retake. Good Boy on the diffuser. It's all up to O-Kills to stop this. Can he get there in time? He needs to hurry. No, he can't. What a blunder. What? I think I just said something about coordination and execution, and now a wag of the finger at Falcons in the
It's not that simple.
So much happened there that I don't envy you trying to break down exactly how the retake went.
No, I mean, to be fair, I mean, the plan went down quickly, but the only issue for Falcons is that the post-plan position, so where you can see the diffuser from, not the greatest on the particular plan spot, right? Because you don't have a lot of map control, you do like a very limited take, it all comes down to the individual gunfights, and that, as we said, that's kind of where Sandbox, they are the better team when they get into those 1v1s, and then it's not like the first round where we saw Sandbox plant on the archive store. They can sit very far away, very comfortably. No, Falcons, they're in the middle of the bomb site fighting 4 different angles at the same time. And the one big surprise is that Monty was actually the second operator to fall in the battle, and Monty is going to be that walking drone that kind of tells his teammates where the enemy is going to be attacking from. When they lose the Monty, they lose their information, and that's our Falcons, they're like fighting in the blind, etc., in the dark. But when you have, you know, more rounds to your opponent, so 5-2 in that round, you are also in a position where you can take those risks. And, it, you know, even if it doesn't work out, not the biggest of punishments. Now it's 5-3. Now you can go back to playing your default style of Siege, and all is good and well.
What on earth? Mute Jammer, 2 ADSs.
Oh, he's comfortable.
Comfy and cozy. He's got his Snuggie on, he's tucked into the corner.
He's got a campfire, you know?
Do you have Snuggies here in Europe?
Yeah, I mean, I would say so. Are they very popular? Not necessarily. You can find them. International shipping is a thing, Parker.
I was not aware.
No, I didn't know.
Thank you for letting me know.
You're welcome.
Sandbox keeping this one close through that last round, but they've got a lot more work to be done now. As Team Falcons, the previous round and this one as well, have an opportunity to go to match points. Again, we talk about what I'd said for Sandbox was a greater conversation on APAC as a whole, is that I'm always impressed by what they bring, though the execution isn't so great. Same thing can be said for Falcons. Well, they've changed things up, and I do enjoy that quite a lot. Demic, the first one under fire now as action slowly gets underway. He's playing by a shield on 90 on that Oryx, no longer available to take such long-range fights with ease. You have to do it instead with a one-time scope.
Yeah, makes things a little bit more difficult. Oh, but Joker, he's got a zoom scope.
Joker's been doing quite well on attack so far, but only a single kill as it's Demic to shut him down. P9 thought about taking an engagement there and then said, hold on, I got Rotero drones I gotta use first. Don't gamble your life at that point. Rotero drone goes off. How much that utility did it clear out? That is
2 out of 3, I believe. I think the jammer and 1 ADS, possibly?
Did it get sight on the player standing in that position? That is the real question. Mad Skills first taking some damage from Arakazi. Finished off by Mephi. Mephi holding the cross in this position. He gets P9 as well. 2 left for Team Falcons against the 4 of Sandbox. And Falcons on attack look a bit more dull than they did in comparison to the sharpness on defense.
Comes down to problem solving. I mean, Sandbox invests all those resources to a single corner, and if Falcons, they can't break that corner, well, that entire area covers pretty much everything Sandbox wants to worry about. So again, problem solving not up to par right now for Falcons. They're trying to find their way with gunfights, but no, even in that area, they're losing right to Sandbox.
What is it?
5-4.
A single kill is brought in, and Sandbox now, after the first half, struggling to get on the board first, are doing a much better job of it. A lot of uncontested picks. The question is when does a timeout get burned between these teams? Because the Falcons, their wings have been clipped at this point. They're coming back down to earth. A very heavily defender-sided border is unfolding in front of us. 3 of the rounds have been won by the attackers, in comparison to 6 so far for the defense. Sandbox now has to go to a tertiary bomb site that'll likely be Ventilation Workshop, and yes it is, they've locked it in, and now they're in action doing setup work. Still favoring the Oryx, as Demic has broken double digits, the only player on the team to do so. On the other side of the pond, O kills. It's done it for Falcons, did it actually quite a while ago.
I was gonna say, round number 4, he broke 10 kills by getting the 1v2 clutch, and he's only gotten 2 since. We're now in round number 10. So
some players log off early.
Some do. And some also just had a really, quick start. NB Taylor, in their opening game of Sandbox, had a phenomenal game individually. Had a bit of a rougher one against Falcons. 2-8 so far. Now on the Capcan, try and help him get some more kills on the board with those traps, perhaps. But overall, it has been one of those, if you're in the first line on Sandbox, on the attack, you will fall very early to the aggression of Falcons, where on the defense, I mean, if you're the player in the front, in that cozy corner, with the ADSs, with the mid jammers, etc., you're in a very favorable position. Your team is playing all around you. You are the pillar of everything that is holy in that round. Right now, Falcons is going to do that phantom pressure style. They're going to open up all the doors, the windows, and keep Sandbox guessing as to where the actual execute will come from. We saw in the kill highlights that Joker got the opening kill on the armory door, then sprinted straight into the bomb site, but there's no follow-up. He dies to a wall bang, and things just kind of fall apart. So Falcons have had one individual player being completely unleashed every round. Twice it was Valentino, once it was Joker. They go for a solo play, and if it works out, they'll act upon it. If it doesn't, they'll just kind of sacrifice that member and say, you know what, you tried.
The point that you made about solo plays has been what I've picked up on the most for this Falcons squad, is that there are a lot of individual engagements, which is what happened on defense as well when they were on that first half. Yeah, Sandbox took a lot of 1v1 engagements too, and Falcons were able to greet them. On defense, Sandbox are much better at their trades. They're playing more of a cohesive unit, but they can outduel Falcons on this round, and as Sandbox has been building a very impressive comeback, there's still time for Team Falcons to blunt that momentum. 4v3 for Falcons with half of the round to go. This is one of the best performances we've seen from them in the last 3 rounds.
It is. The question is, Sandbox, how many people did they actually commit to the meat grinder? Because only 2 people fell, but Goodboy was a third option. He's playing out of armory, relatively far back, but he chose not to get in the early battle. But now, if he sticks around, he's all alone. Get some shots off, a bit of damage, but he dropped down that hat, he wants safety. But remember, to sacrifice top 4, that means the bomb site is not on the fire. So close.
Goodboy taking some heat from above, drops through the hatch, takes some more from below. Now it's P9 taking some damage as well.
We got 3 different operators of breaching charges, by the way. Both the Mad Skills, P9, and Valentino, so much self-destruction despite no bug or no sledge.
I don't know if that's what they were intending for that Kiba barrier. Sometimes the application can be quite wonky. More of those breaches going down as you talked about. I was gonna say, I don't really like this angle from Arakaze, but I wasn't gonna be the guy to jump in. Now I can talk about it from hindsight, and oh my! All right, well.
It just ends just like that.
It's all over in that round.
That's the thing. I mean, if you sacrifice the top 4 hold on a ventilation defense with like a minute to go, unless the enemy has literally 0 self-destruction to break the floor apart, you're in for a really, really bad time. There's no safe space at either the ventilation bomb site or the workshop bomb site. And Arakaze, he's standing still holding an angle, hoping for the best. And if you want the gunfight, maybe that's a way in, but it is not a good position to be in. The angle heavily favoring the attacker up above. So, Sandbox, the question has to be had, how long or how much do you fight for the top floor? Well, 2 members only, with 3 people below, with Goodboy dropping, that might not be enough. Maybe send 3, 4 people upstairs and have the entire round play up in its entirety on that vertical hold. That could be the way forward, but we won't see it for now. Bomb sites will change. It goes back to the bathroom Taylor's bomb site with a couple of operator differences here. Enemy Taylor on the kite can try and electrify some walls from below, perhaps, on that triple office wall. We'll see. And we have Demic on the Echo to stop a potential plant. Get a bit of mobile information as the Valkyrie, of course. You put down the evil eye cameras, or the black eye cameras, rather. You can't really necessarily pick them up again. It's different operator, yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
Maestro Valkyrie, it's like similar, you know. Imagine Valkyrie's cams could shoot lasers. Now that would be something.
I simply choose not to.
It would be pretty balanced.
Choose not to think about it.
No? Twitch drones can do it. Maestro cams can do it. Yokais can shoot out like a burst of wind, it looks like, animation-wise.
I'd like to remind everybody right now that Falcons are not playing with their full 5. Their IGL J-Lad's not here at the moment, so it's been Valentino who's been picking up the slack by IGLing the squad. Their matchup against Eminem 2 days ago was the first time that he's ever IGL'd at this level. Discussed it in the interview that he had with Ginny, and guess what? Might hear from him yet again. Falcons potentially 2 minutes away from going on to phase 2. No team from this region has ever qualified for a stage in the major. Obviously, they didn't exist as a region, supported at the tier 1 level until very recently. No APAC team has been successful in making it to phase 2 yet, other than the 2 that are already qualified, both Scars and D+. You might know D+ as the old Dom on Kia roster. Just in case you haven't been following along and don't recognize the name. Sandbox hoping to do just that. Loser of this matchup has a date with Eminem. For Falcons, it would be a rematch. Goodboy taking down Joker. Sandbox trying to keep themselves in this one. Getting the first pick is a huge way to do that. And Joker has been the best player for Falcons on attack so far.
Yeah, no, he certainly has. O'Kills was the defending here, but not the attacker side of that. And Sandbox actually fighting their ground up above once again. Amy Taylor on the Kaid, successful. Sure, the fountain walls are opened up for a line of sight, but no entry point.
Sophia P9 finding Goodboy and taking a great deal of his HP away from him. As the explosions go off too, Goodboy will hold on this position. Luck runs out in the duel against P9. Tied it up in terms of operator count, just under a minute to go.
These keeper barriers, so vital for these positions.
Oh, and they've seemingly baited them in. Arakaze catches Mad Skills looking, was O-Kills takes out Demic, now Arakaze goes down. Mephi has access to the AA-12, and look at that, a single bullet tearing through O-Kills. P9 now the drop into the bomb site.
But they don't know.
If he's up there, they still don't seem to be aware of it. Now it's up to P9 to do some damage.
Oh.
And that's it. Falcons soar to phase 2.
If they'd gotten that kill as diffuser as well, that might buy them enough time. He was trying to drop, but he could be with his shield. So close. But 7-4 is the score.
Well, impressive stuff. They go out of phase 1 in the right direction. 2 best-of-1s is all it takes, and we've got our first Middle Eastern team to qualify for the second phase of a major. Sandbox dropping down to play up against M&M later today. We got more matches to go. We'll be back in just a moment.
I got problems on problems on problems on problems on problems on problems I solve them. I run through the money, the pressure be calling. Left on my blessings, I feel like I'm falling. The birdie is back. Tell me I'm garbage, I'm going through something, that's why I ain't calling. Phone and progression is all that I wanted. The phone and affection, I summon and dub it. Cause I got problems on problems on problems on problems on problems on problems I solve them. I run through the money, the pressure be calling. Left on my blessings, I feel like I'm falling. The birdie is back. Tell me I'm garbage, I'm going through something, that's why I ain't calling. Phone and progression is all that I wanted. The phone and affection, I summon and dub it. Why you be all on my line about nothing? Why won't you go get you $1 or something? Don't hang with it who line for nothing. I see that we different, you riding, I double. I don't do discussions on bragging about hundreds. Don't go to your places, I know that they sunken. Don't call me your brother, I barely could trust it. I talked to a shorty, she bagging the bucket. And I'ma need all of my dollars on corporate, so hand me the money, I divvy the pie. I'ma give all of my people a portion to build them a fortune. I'm flipping the ride. I can't be mixy when iffy the vibe. And 40 on 50 is really the time. Why are you all on my phone like you want me? Like you wasn't pushing the kid to the side. I run through the money, the pressure be calling. Left on my blessings, I feel like I'm falling. The birdie is back. Tell me I'm garbage, I'm going through something, that's why I ain't calling.
Well, the first non-Brazilian, North American, and European team has made their way in successful fashion to phase 2 outside of the teams that have already qualified.
Yes.
We need to put that little asterisk in there because people are going to be like, Falcons make it to Saturday, and they will be in the second phase, playing up against the other teams that have successfully made it out of phase 1, and then those who qualified who will be arriving in the next couple days. This has been an impressive run for a team that's not even fighting at full strength, playing with a substitute, and having a brand new IGL. But I mean, like a lot of other teams, APAC have been lambs to slaughter here, and this time the lamb was none other than Sandbox.
Yeah, and Falcons, of course, big praise from both teams in their scrims, and of course from playing a game as 8 against BDS in the finals last year, so relatively high expectations for a team who, frankly, has never played at this level of Siege before, but they've also shown up and proven that they deserve to be here.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you look at this Sandbox team, this is the same Mantis FPS, Element Mystic, Cloud9 roster that's been around for eternity, and actually, in terms of qualifications for majors, this team has qualified for just about everything over the last 4 years. Now, they don't have a lot of international success to show for it, but in terms of consistency, they are always among the best in APAC, which puts them in the top 16 in the world.
Yeah.
Didn't really matter much here. Sandbox, while doing better on defense, showed some very obvious issues with coordination. Their attacks in particular left a lot to be desired of. But when it came down to individual gun skill and individual gunplay, as good as Sandbox was, Falcons were a little bit better.
I will say it's always refreshing to watch them and how they can play those flexible attacks with the glass, the yings, that chaotic kind of style of Siege, and I do appreciate that they're showing it time and time again, even though the outcome is a bit mixed.
Yeah. I mean, the results of these initial matches in phase 1, Nick, have been so chaotic. Like, I mean, the only thing that has been somewhat predictable is, sadly, the lack of success for APAC.
Yeah.
We are in a position where every single APAC team could potentially go home. Every team that would be eliminated except for one would be APAC. And it really comes down to that M&M Sandbox game. And then, of course, the other game, the Vero game that's going to be coming up against Wolves in just a matter of moments.
Yeah.
It'll be casted by Dev and Mandy. But boy, oh boy, I'm impressed with Falcons, frankly. When we saw them play in Gamers A, making it to the finals against BDS, there were a lot of people saying, well, you know, it's not a tier 1 tournament. Teams aren't always taking it seriously, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, sure. But I think this should prove, at least through these 2 best-of-1s, that Falcons are a real threat to the teams that are here. And we'll see how they do in Phase 2 in just a couple days. Until then, let's hear what they have to say about the matchup as we have an interview ready.
We do have an interview ready, indeed. We have Valentino once again. So first of all, welcome back.
Thank you.
This is already your second interview, Phase 1. 2 wins back-to-back, very dominant.
Thankfully, we made it to stage 2, to phase 2.
Yeah.
I mean, yesterday was a harder game, but we were playing better as a team. Today we had like players popping off, thankfully.
Yeah.
So it was a shorter game, but at the same time, it was hard. But we did great.
You guys did great indeed, and as you said it yourself, you now qualified for Phase 2. So that is a different beast to be attacking. How are you going to do some prep for that?
Of course, we are scrimming. We are gonna look into VOD reviews. We are gonna analyze whoever we're playing. Hopefully, we don't get the hardest games out of them.
Okay.
Hopefully. But we will do our best. Whoever we play, we are ready for them.
You mentioned something earlier when we were talking before we started the interview about the importance of ranked to the play style of Falcons.
Yes. I mean, basically, we are an adapting team. We don't need like heavy strats to rely on. It's just how we play together, the chemistry, how we adapt against the enemies. We look at the strats, then we adapt against them. So basically, it's just us analyzing the enemies and playing against how they play.
Do you think that makes it a bit more difficult for other teams to prepare for you because you're unpredictable?
Yeah, exactly. If you look at the VOD reviews of us playing, there's nothing specific. It's always us adapting against the enemy team. That's it.
So that's been the winning formula so far. So
I hope it works.
We'll see. I mean, so far it's been working. You guys are doing amazing.
Yeah.
The MENA debut has been incredible here, and you guys are making a lot of people proud. But you also have a few days off before Phase 2 starts. So what is the one thing that you want to do in your off time?
Playing ranked.
Play ranked. Okay,
ranked.
fair enough. That's a lovely way to spend your time off.
I mean,
Thank you. Anything you want to say before we close it out?
Thank you so much, everyone. We are doing this for MENA. We are doing this for the whole community. We have been waiting for this 8 years. And hopefully, we will come up and make you proud.
I mean, you guys are already making us proud. Thank you guys for tuning in. We have a break, and we'll be back.
When you have 2 teams from the same region going up against one another, you're best friends. But in the server, you want that win. You want it so bad.
Our 2 Brazilian teams in the grand final for the first time ever.